What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to basketball, and more importantly, welcome back to Trade Talk, a series where we focus on one team around the NBA and help them navigate their trade deadline. And in this video, we've got the New York Knicks, a team where the season is going pretty damn well, honestly. So we got to help set them up for their finals push. But before we get into all that, make sure that you guys like, subscribe, and comment. I've responded to every single comment on my YouTube channel up to this point, and I intend to keep on doing so. As always, go watch the other content on the channel, whether it's the rookie report, progress reports, other trade talk videos. You guys have really been enjoying those. But with all that being said, let's jump in and talk about the Knicks. And that brings us back to the trade talk spreadsheet. For those of you that don't know, I basically build these spreadsheets to kind of help articulate and visualize the stories and scenarios that we're talking about here on YouTube. And if you've been on the channel for any amount of time, you have seen this particular sheet very often. We use it in a bunch of different series because it gives us kind of this overview of like, hey, here's what the roster looks like. We got some numbers behind everybody. We got depth charts, draft picks, a cap space tracker, which is going to be very important in this video. But to kind of just start off with talking about the Knicks, things are going well. 2 seed right now. The team's looking pretty good. Guys are playing well. We got a lot of green on here, but what we're trying to do is optimize this team. Like, this is a very opportune time to kind of push for the finals and see what we can do. Obviously, this team's been trying to contend, but we want to make sure that we're doing our part to give this team the pieces necessary to go compete for that championship. And this video might look a little bit different than some of the other ones that we've done on the channel, where there's some bigger names being moved. But in this one, it's more so about how do we make the right smaller moves, right? And how do we do it realistically? So that's what we're going to tackle in this video today. But before we even get into the trades, and don't skip ahead just to the trades, learn, understand like why we're doing what we're doing, right? We want to go through the roster and just target like, hey, who do we even want to move in this video? And then what kind of flexibility does that give us to actually go and make these moves? So just starting from the top, let's talk about it. If you're curious what these numbers are right here, by the way, these are EPM numbers. They stand for estimated plus minus. Basically, this really advanced statistic that we have that tells you how good somebody is at offense, defense, and overall as a basketball player. I then take those numbers, normalize them so you can get a 0 to 100 score, 100 being the best at something, 0 being the worst. I always have to say, as someone that owns a stats company, there's no god stat. No stat is perfect. There's flaws with all of them, but these are pretty good ones. But again, you have to understand the context with any statistics. Don't just look at it and think it's the absolute truth. All right, roster. We're not touching Karl-Anthony Towns, OG Anunoby, Brunson, Bridges, Hart. We are not touching these guys. These guys are kind of the key parts to this team. This team has done a wonderful job of building up a pretty stud, like, first 5, right? These guys are closers. We're good, right? We don't need to talk about them anymore. Mitchell Robinson, we'd like to hang on to him because Cat, everything that he does well, Mitchell Robinson can kind of make up for the things that he doesn't do as well, right? All the rebounding, the defense, all of that whatnot, we want it there. After Mitchell Robinson, we have some questions about true, like, center play, but it is what it is. Guerschon Yabusele, probably on the block. I think we all kind of understand that one. What seemed like, and I'll be the first one to raise my hand and say, it hasn't gone as expected. I said, hey, this is one of the more underrated signings of free agency. You got Yabusele on a pretty good deal. He was a really productive player for the Sixers last year. Has not gone very well for him this year. Just hasn't really been able to find that groove again. And at $5.5 million, we can get something else for him. So I think, and rather than trying to figure it out, let's just move on and go get something different. Deuce McBride, I'd like to keep Deuce if we could. While we do have depth at the kind of point guard or primary ball handler position, whether that obviously be Brunson, McBride, Kolek's been awesome. Jordan Clarkson is even a guy you can kind of go to for some of those situations. Hell, if you need extra ball handlers, Bridges and Anunoby can do some of that, right? I'd like to keep Deuce. He's just on such a valuable contract, and I don't know what trading him would actually do to get you a fair return, because, look, even if you put Yabu and Deuce into a deal, you get to $9 million and you lose a roster spot. So it's like, or you open up one roster spot and you're not helping yourself out financially at all. So I'd like to keep Deuce. It's worth keeping him. But now Pacome Daddier, rookie from last year, he's on the block. Look, some Knicks fans are going to be like, Pacome Daddier, that's our guy. He's our rookie, or he was our young guy or whatever. He's the future. Relax, right? End of the first round in a bad draft class. When I evaluated Daddier, I was like, hey, the dude's like, yeah, I can see some long-term potential. It's gonna take a while to get there. We don't got time for that. We don't need it. You also see he doesn't really even have any numbers here. He didn't hit a lot of the minimum qualifiers of minutes or shot attempts to even get an analysis done. So we're moving on. Somebody will be interested, right? He's a first-round pick, lengthy dude. Maybe can be an outside shooter for a team at some point. 3-and-D guys, kind of the ideal thing, and people like those guys. Landry Shamet. I mean, if we need to, right? A lot of some of these guys towards the back here, it's like, yeah, if we need to, right? Shamet does what he's supposed to do well, which is shoot threes. So I'll put a minus sign by him, just kind of saying, like, look, if we need to include him in something, we will, but then we'd just be trading minimum contract for minimum contract, and it's like, okay, we're kind of just getting a different skill set then, and I like having one guy as a reserve that can just light it up from three. I think that that's valuable. Jordan Clarkson, we're not touching him. Obviously, he's up and down as a player, as always, but you live for the moments where he gets hot in big moments. That tends to be when he comes out a little bit more. He could very well win you a playoff game. He could lose you one as well, but there's so many good players on the team, you just don't have to play him that much if it's not going that well. Kolik's been cool, man, and he continues to get better. He's a guy that I kind of anticipated becoming a regular part of this rotation, and it seems like he's well on his way to doing so we're definitely holding on to him. Huck, Porty, and Diawara, the two kind of reserve bigs. It's tough, man. Huck Porty can be a little bit hard to watch sometimes. I personally find Diawara maybe a little bit better to watch. Like, Huck Porty will get some rebounds, which is great, but otherwise, I don't necessarily know. I would like to find another big man option for this team, just in case something happens to like a Mitchell Robinson, because he does have a lot of injury history. Obviously, we'll knock on wood and hope that doesn't happen. But if we need to trade like one of these guys to make it happen, I'm going to make it happen, right? So just something to keep in mind. We also have one roster spot open, and you'll notice we don't really have a lot of cap flexibility here. This team actually is capped at the second apron. We are not allowed to go past the second apron based off the current contracts that we have out, and we only have $148K to work with. That's not even enough to sign a minimum contract, dude. So one of the things we need to do today is we need to free up a little bit of cap space in order to be able to really like utilize this last roster spot. Maybe somebody on the buyout market becomes available. Like, you have to imagine like a Chris Middleton becomes available or something like that. Then we can maybe go try to sign him or something just as an extra reserve on this team, or who knows, right? Who knows who it ends up being. The buyout market hasn't been quite so great in recent years, but regardless, that's something we want to try and explore. So we got to free up a little bit of cap space in order to actually utilize that. It'd be nice if we can get to like $3-ish million in space. That's probably the goal, is to get like somewhere north of that by the end of this video and still have the open roster spot. If we fill the roster spot in the video, I guess that's an option as well, but I'd like to keep it open for the buyout market. And then taking a look at draft picks for this team in terms of other assets, the Knicks have done a pretty good job of holding on to things. A lot of these picks are a little bit complicated in how they work, but we've got a lot of little assets that we can work with here, because look, draft picks, as far as we can tell from the market right now, are just such a hot commodity, because even second round picks nowadays are really important to teams, because it allows you to get cheap players that you can put at the back of your roster, right? Like a Huck Porty, or Daddier was a late first round pick, a Diawara's second round pick, right? These cheap guys that help you kind of stay under these aprons and go sign like other people. So these picks are valuable, man. They really are. And the first round picks especially. So we've got assets. We can make things happen. We just have to figure out what it is. So what do I want? I'd like to get some more like forward depth, because after like Bridges, Hart, and Anunoby, which is pretty good, like, and we're going to be moving Gershon, we're going to want to try to find something else here. And yeah, Towns plays that role sometimes with Mitchell Robinson, but I'd like to go get a little bit more depth there. Ideally, we have enough scoring. I'd like to just go get a defender more so than anything else. Someone else that can come in and play some defense for this team, because again, I'm not as worried about the offense as I am the defense with this group, especially like when you have a center like Townsend. I want more perimeter defense. Like, obviously, him and Brunson are both defensive concerns at times, so that's a thought. And then let's go try and find another big man as well. But again, like, we're looking for cheap role players right now, so this video is a little bit different. But with all that kind of being said, I think we've got a good idea of kind of what we want to start to look for. So I say let's move over to the trade portion of this video and kind of get it moving. And that brings us back here to Fanspo. Fanspo, for those of you that don't know, really cool website where you can make all these different like trades and do mock drafts. We'll do a bunch of those starting soon. We'll be making big boards and stuff like that. Not sponsored, just love the website. And by the way, did you just skip the last like 8 minutes of this video? Guess what? Your Nana's a hoe and she was making me waffles this morning. Why was I there for waffles? That's up for you to figure out. But yeah, don't skip the last part of the video. It's only like 20% of you do, because most of my audience at this point is people with solid attention span. So thank you guys. It used to be like 60, 70% of people that skip that part. But go there, like learn context for things, engage with long form media. Don't let your brains melt. But anyway, we got to make some moves. Who are we going to target with these trades? And again, we're trying to keep this as realistic as possible. So the first thing I want to do is just kind of get an understanding for how much money we have to work with here. So here's what I'm going to do. We're going to grab this amount of money here, because we know we want to trade these two. These are the two best kind of trade assets that we have. And put together, these guys add up to about 8.3 million. So knowing that we want to get to about $3 million in space, that means we can only take back about 5-ish million for both of these guys. That's a good number to work with. So thankfully, I've got a bunch of contracts pulled up here. And I think what we do is we just kind of work from like $4 or $3-ish million down and just be like, hey, who would we want realistically to get? Gary Trent, probably not someone we're all that interested in. Svi Mikhailuk could be an option here. I'm just clicking guys that I think could be something valuable. It says Gary Harris is the defensive player, maybe. I don't want to do Gary Harris. That boy sometimes just doesn't even shoot in basketball games, right? Otherwise, like Yves Missy, I doubt we're going to be able to get him, right? Deron Holmes, I doubt it. And again, we're just looking for targets right now. Julian Champagnie, no way the Spurs are giving him up right now. Who else could we? There's Pacome right here. And again, we're not looking through the best talent ever, but just trying to find something. Julian Strother, I don't think it's the easiest thing to get, but could be an option. I'm not exactly sure how we'd get him, but again, I'm just noting people that I wouldn't mind having. Luka Garza, there's no way they're giving him up right now. Mamu, there's no way they're giving him up right now. Justin Champagnie, maybe, is what I say, if you pay them enough. It seems like the Wizards, based off the Trae Young trade, are trying to at least put a competent roster together at some point. So I would presume that means keeping Justin on the team. Jay Huff, if he becomes available, could be something, but Indiana would have to go get another center first in order to do that. And even then, like, the value that you get for him there is probably not easy. There's no way we can get Keita. Vit, no. AJ's not exactly what I'm looking for. Keon Ellis would be great. What we're giving up to get him, I don't exactly know. And he's more of a guard. I'm not sure that's exactly the skill set we need, but I'm going to put him on there. Marvin Bagley. We did that one in the last video. He would, again, be a great kind of big man to throw in behind Towns and Robinson. He's been having a great year for them. He gives you a little bit more dynamicness compared to some of these other guys, right? Honestly, Towns is pretty dynamic in a lot of ways, but maybe a nice, like, in-between player of those two to use. I could see it. Doug McDermott's not exactly what I'm looking for. I'm still looking for what that wing player could kind of be, right? It's not like a Joe Ingles. Amir Coffey, probably not the defensive player that I'm looking for. I'd love Javonte Green, but there's no way the Pistons are giving him up. Again, like, it's interesting to kind of think about what all of these guys would be. I'd love to get G.G. Jackson. Not exactly what we're looking for, though. Julian Phillips, probably not. Jalen Wilson for Brooklyn, probably not. Andre Jackson Jr., that could be one. Trace Jackson Davis is another big. I'm not sure what we would give up for that unless we're giving up Noah Pacombs more money. Maybe they want Gershon in some way, but we'd have to take on more salary somehow with them, and I don't think that's possible necessarily. Precious Achua, that's another option if they, like, guarantee his contract. Is his contract guaranteed? I don't exactly remember at this point. Otherwise, who else are we kind of looking at? I'm sure you guys have screamed something irrational at my screen already, like EVC, Quentin Post, go get Quentin Post. No, they're not gonna give us him. What about Oso Ighodaro, EVC? Maybe they'd give him up. I doubt it. He's been playing pretty solid for Phoenix. Let's see. What about Maxime Reynaud? Sacramento might do anything. We don't know what Sacramento would do, but okay. Who are all the people that we just clicked on right here? So this is kind of our list of people. Svi Mikhailuk, Julian Strother, Champagny, Jay Huff, Keon Ellis, Marvin Bagley, Andre Jackson Jr., Precious Achua. Okay, Precious has been on this team before, and he's played a solid role on this team before. His job is just to kind of play defense, get some rebounding, be kind of an in-between big man whenever people were hurt. He was kind of the Mitchell Robinson replacement last year. Could bring him back. The reason he didn't get brought back is he wanted more money, and he didn't actually get any more money, so, is what it is. I do think Marvin Bagley is probably the big man option for us, and we should have the resources to accommodate this, and I think this is where we dump Gershon as well, because here's the thing, right? This team wants to have, competent basketball players on the team still is kind of what we're getting at, but nothing that's really going to help you, win games, and here's kind of my thought, right? At the end of the season, they'd have to re-sign Marvin Bagley to something if they want to, or if they want to keep him, right? Gershon, this is his opportunity to kind of show his stuff a little bit more. Again, right, there's not exactly a guy playing his role on this team right now, so you could throw him in. Ooh, the French connection of Sarr, him, and Koulibaly. I kind of fuck with that. But he gets a chance to play a little bit more. He's on a good contract if he plays like he did last year, right? And that could be another nice kind of buy low, sell high type of thing for the Wizards. Obviously, we'd have to compensate them draft-wise as well. So let's mock this out. Where's my guy Marvin Bagley? Again, I'd love to add a Champagny to this team, but we're gonna try to add Marvin Bagley to this group. And what are we thinking? Just throw in one of the second round picks? That's probably what we want to do, right? These picks are becoming more and more valuable. What do we give you? This 2028 second round pick right here? I think that's probably fine. You could probably say that a bidding war might happen for a Marvin Bagley, and maybe we have to throw in a second round pick. Not many teams can probably best that, so if that's what you want to say in the comments and say, hey, I think more and more people are going to go after him because he is cheap and productive, and maybe you have to throw a little bit more to outbid somebody, fine, fair enough. I'm just going to go with the one for now, because in my mind, we're able to kind of talk him and say, hey, Gershon's not having the greatest season. He was pretty damn good last year. You can flip him again after this year, and you don't have to worry about re-signing Marvin Bagley now. So this trade should work financially. We save a pretty good amount of money by doing this already as well, and that's the other reason I like this one, because that already gives us our $3.2 kind of million that we were looking for. So right off the bat, and I'm going to get rid of this. What happened to Gershon right here? Oops, that's on me. I eliminated a formula that I needed. There we go. So this is now Marvin Bagley right here. So that's great. That's awesome. I can throw Marvin Bagley. Fuck it, I'll just throw him here. He's going to play more of a big man role for us, but that's where he's at now. We have collected our $3.3 million that we needed to go play in the buyout market successfully now. That's great. We also lost this second round pick. I don't care. I really don't care at this point. So that's fine. We probably want to use one of these other second round picks somehow this year. And these could be stuff that we use in the off season as well to move up and go get the right guy in an early second round or something like that. Because it's not the worst thing that we've got potentially 2 second round picks this year. Because again, we're going to be an expensive team going into next year. That helps us fill out the back half of kind of this roster. And maybe it's not Huck Porty and Diawara next year. So just some things to think about. But now I want to go get that defensive player. Who is that going to be out of these guys? Just taking a quick look at some of the options. Let's take a look at Svi Mikhailuk right here. Svi Mikhailuk has started for a lot of the season for Utah. He's just been kind of a guy that sits in the corner, shoots some 3-pointers. Defensively, meh, is what I'd say. He's fine. You're looking at him here, bring some size at his height. Offensively, defensively, pretty whatever. This year he's actually pretty damn efficient going to the rim, but the Jazz play the kind of system where he's only going to get so many opportunities probably at the rim is my guess. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. But he's shooting a lot of threes and he's making a good amount of them. So that's fine. He doesn't need the ball either. We've seen that because the Jazz play a pretty simple style of basketball, right, where he's kind of just sitting in the corner. So that's definitely an option. He's cheap. I can make that happen. Julian Strother for Denver. I put him down just because like I like Strother as a prospect. He hasn't really been able to crack the rotation in a team that, like, look, any rotation player that's playing well, he's going to be able to get in. He showed some stuff last year, but I don't know why Denver would give him up necessarily, because we'd be trading Daddier and he's more expensive. So I don't necessarily see that one happening. Justin Champagny, we kind of talked about that. I don't think they're just giving him up necessarily. We don't need to talk about Jay Huff anymore. Keon Ellis. Oh, Keon. Well, yes, objectively, it'd be nice to add him to this team. I do think the bidding war that we're going to get in to get a guy who his skill set is valuable, it's just not something we particularly need on this team. I just don't think it's a battle that's worth kind of entering in. Andre Jackson Jr. I like Andre Jackson Jr., and if you've been following my channel for a while, you'll know that I think how the Bucks have treated him since Doc Rivers has become coach has been a little bit less than ideal. This is a guy that's been a pretty decent, like, 3-and-D player in his career. You saw him at least last year. Defensively, he's pretty good. Offensively, not as great. Shot the 3-ball well. It's very limited attempts, but he did shoot it well. He just doesn't really get, like, any burn at this point. You'll see 6 minutes a game. Again, Doc just doesn't really like to play him. One thing that I like about Jackson Jr. is he keeps offense moving. When you do give him the ball, he doesn't just take bad shots. He will catch and kind of attack the rim and, like, make their next right pass. So I think that this could be one where we could kind of steal him, because for the Jazz, like Svi Mykhailiuk, I don't think it would cost like a ton to go get him, and he just opens up more minutes for Ace Bailey, right, as soon as Svi's gone. So that's not the worst thing in the world. The Jazz are a little bit more competent. You look at the Bucks might want some young guys on the team. They're just not using Andre Jackson Jr., so if you look at Daddier, right, he's more years, and a team that is going to have a lot of financial trouble over the next couple of years because of the stretch that they did with Damian Lillard, that could be a way to go get it. Now, again, I could understand you being like, EVC, Andre Jackson Jr. is not playing very well this year. Again, I'm kind of making an educated guess that you put him on a better and more organized team, we kind of start to see some of the good in him again, right? That because a lot of GMs make this mistake of like trading for people that like are playing well and then they don't fit the situation they're coming into, and it's kind of a mess. He's also cheaper too, is he not? He's cheaper than Daddier, so that could help us save even more money. We don't really need to save that much more money, but it does help us come like buyout time. So. And I think this could be pretty simple. Like, they're just not using Andre Jackson Jr. They probably just don't give a fuck at this point. Where are they at financially? Yeah, they're fine. So, do they have Damian Lillard's, like, contract information, like, factored into all this? Is that actually, like, they're $11 million under the tax? Is that correct? Am I able to, like, see this somehow? How do I view their payroll right here? Do they not have Dame on here? Hold up one second. Let me figure this out. I'm going over to Spot Track because I want to see if those numbers are realistic. Okay, it is. It just doesn't really like show it on here. I don't see Damian Lillard's like numbers on here, so it's a little bit confusing to look at. But okay, those numbers are realistic. This is pretty easy then. I think we can just do a Daddier for an Andre Jackson Jr. right here. We get a little bit of size, we get a little bit more athletic than we would have with Svi. Svi's not the worst athlete, but Andre Jackson Jr., very good athlete, can be a very, very good defensive player, and that's kind of what we talked about wanting in this video. So I think we can just kind of do this straight up and be like, hey, you take on a little bit more money, but you get another year of a cheap guy, right? You can kind of develop him a little bit more. Good for you guys. You guys don't like Andre Jackson Jr. anyway. We'll take him, and we get another year of him being really, really cheap on this team, and potentially get kind of the bench defensive wing that we've been looking to add to this group, right? Because I can imagine a world where, like, you got Brunson and Towns in the game, and look, they're just going to do their own thing anyway. I might as well just throw Andre Jackson Jr. and Josh Hart out there and just kind of let them go be defensive then around those two, right? Because we know we're going to get buckets with them out there. So I like that. I'm personally a fan. So let's go throw in Andre Jackson Jr. right there. And then the question just becomes, are we done? Is it that simple? Because again, this team doesn't need to do a bunch, right? It really doesn't need to do a bunch. It's just about kind of packing the bench up in a better way to help them contend, because their first like couple of dudes, like we're good, right? Like we even got some great bench dudes in like Mitchell Robinson, Deuce McBride, Kolek again has been playing well. Clarkson has his moments. Like we've got some decent role players here. So now what did we do? We added another big man option in Marvin Bagley, and in theory, another guy that can play next to like Towns if needed, which I think is valuable, right? He can kind of go between that forward and big man kind of role. We added another defender, like we said, and Andre Jackson Jr. We hope his numbers are going to go up when he's not just being shamed on the Bucks for whatever reason, because they just don't fucking play him. And we did free up the cap space as well, so you might be saying, AVC, these are not as fun of moves as I wanted, AVC. Damn you to hell, AVC. Sorry, Knicks fans. Think of it this way. After this, you guys can go sign whoever in the buyout market becomes available, whatever fun name that is. And I don't really know many buyout fans. Again, Chris Middleton's the only one I can kind of picture being a realistic one to be bought out, but I'm sure there'll be like 2 or 3 other guys. So now you become a prime destination for them. You're a contender. You're going to have a spot available. You'll have the money available. Now you can go get that other impact dude. So I think overall we've done a pretty good thing here. We really didn't give up many assets to make it happen. Again, maybe you can say another second round pick's got to go into things or whatever. Fine. But like nobody else is calling about Andre Jackson Jr. And so if I have to give up another second to go get Marvin, I'm kind of okay with that, right? And I've liked Marvin for a minute, by the way, so I'm more than down with this. And now we could say, do we want to get off like a Huck Porter or Diawara? You could. I don't think it's really necessary at this moment. Like, they're on the team. They know the scheme at this point, right? Who really cares? It's more size. I think we're okay with where we're at with this group. Again, we'll probably try to target like another wing or forward with this last roster spot, and then I think we're doing pretty good. So I think this is it for the Knicks. I think this is a pretty quick one, all said and done. I am trying to prioritize teams in this series that I think will be active during the deadline, so let me know who you kind of want to see me cover next. Don't be commenting dumb shit like, AVC, go do the Thunder. What moves is the Thunder gonna make? Bitch. What the fuck are you talking about? But anyway, I appreciate it as always. Let me know what you guys think of this down in the comment section below. And with that being said, let's move on to the comments of the video. Alrighty, y'all. Comment to the video is coming from our Houston Rockets trade talk video. Go give that one a watch. You'll see Marvin Bagley in the thumbnail for that one as well, because we looked at adding him to the Rockets. But anyway, the comment to the video is coming from Lofo. I don't exactly know. And your profile picture is that Yoda? Okay, fair enough. He said before, comma, he's been looking if he can touch up on some guys. Now he's looking to fill some holes. AVC is a freak. I don't know what I said in this video. I'm sure I said some crazy shit that prompted this comment, but hey, AVC and his freak life, that is not your business. That happens off camera. I don't know what I'm talking about. You got the comment to the video. Good for you. If you want to have more great basketball conversations like that one, go join the Discord down in the description below. Unfortunately, there probably are conversations like that in the Discord because there's some freaks on there. But anyway, I appreciate you guys. As always, go check out the other content on the channel. And with all that being said, I hope you guys have a good one. Thanks so much, y'all. Bye.